Welcome, everybody. This is the Day Trading Options Daily Review for July 26, 2016. I'm Scott. He's Alan. We're going to be taking a look at a couple trades, and then we're going to look at whether or not you could have made 10% in 10 minutes. But we want to start off with Netflix, because sometimes you have to think of this as a game, okay? And usually when you have a game, it means you have an opponent. And we sometimes think, well, in trading options, the opponent is maybe the market. I like to think of it as on the other side of my screen is another person, and they're trying to do their best to win, as I'm trying to do the best to win, and only one of us can win. And so what happens when you play most games, like football, for example, right? Oftentimes a quarterback will take the ball and he'll look like he's going to give it to the running back, and then the running back runs pretending he's got the ball, and everyone on defense, sometimes they go for the fake and they go after that guy, and then he turns around and he throws it for a 50-yard gainer or something like that. So this is one of the things that you have to be aware of in the market. And oftentimes people will come up to us and say, man, this looked like it was perfect, and then it went against me. And that's because you got faked out. And sometimes, fortunately, we have little things that we're going to point out to you in a minute that show you when there could be a head fake. Right now, nothing is 100%, but we try to make it as close to, well, you know, these are the things you need to pay attention to. And when it comes to these head fakes, which happen a lot, sometimes it could be because of computer trading. When, you know, 3 months ago, some group of guys sat down with their supercomputer and said, when IBM hits this number, we're going to buy or we're going to sell. And they go away. And then when it hits that, they buy or they sell, whatever happens. And if it's a lot of buying and selling, because there's a lot of supercomputers doing the same thing, then the market can move in a dramatically different direction than you thought. So you could be going, wow, this thing is going up, it's going up. And you're not aware that that price point is set to cause catastrophe for your strategy. Fortunately, we have that worked into the Ways of Profit software. Not necessarily going to be showing you that today, but it's there. I just wanted to use that as kind of one example of these head fakes that can be coming up. So, Alan, let's take a look at Netflix on the 26th and how it's looking like right now. We got the green background, we got a green arrow, we got one that's red. If that turned green, that might look pretty good.
Yeah, I'll just move ahead in 1 minute. So here we are, 1 minute.
Boom, it's green. All right, man.
So to some people, this is looking like a pretty good trade. Now, we say there's only a few things you have to watch, and you know, we're pretty clear about that. This is right here. It says gap, and it says it again, just as another reminder. And if that's not enough, well, here is the one of the other charts we have, 15 minute. So what you've got here, is that's the previous day, and then this is today. And so here's the price closing yesterday area, and then it zoomed up quite a bit. And so there's lots of ways to tell it's a gap. You can see that fairly easily. And so if you're not using a gap strategy, that we have a great coach who's very good at teaching that, then you should stay away from them. And we've been saying that for a long time. Wait until 10:30. So the first hour, let it all, the weirdness settle out on a gap. It's just too much energy if you don't have the strategy. So here we are. Let's say you bought it right there, and now I'm going to move forward. You're going, Yahoo, I'm really liking this. We got a blue star there. And that, of course, is a concern for me, because that's usually a turning point. And so here we are. It's looking like life is wonderful, and then it settles and it starts going the other way a little bit. Not too bad, but this is the part. See, with gaps, it's very volatile. It moves up and down. So what happens? Well, if you're hanging on, hoping, I'm just moving forward quickly, it's not going to keep going, it looks like. although the market, that's the black line, is moving up a bit more, this stock is now going the other way. This is, this is where it hurts. And you got to hang on for a long time. Well, hanging on could be really bad. At this point, it's already costing a lot of money. So that didn't turn out. Now, if you waited the first hour, you might miss a trade. Yes. So this is the first hour right here. So you didn't participate in this, which is good. And if you have the strategy, then you know what to do with all that. But the point is, well, then there didn't seem to be much of a trade anymore in here, really. I would rather miss a million trades and have one good one than to get into even one bad trade. So that's the end of that, is watch for gaps. Another thing to watch for that we talk about quite frequently and is well covered in the training is time. What happens is on the half hour or sometimes even the 15 minutes, a stock will turn around. So here's an example. So let's go to Tesla. We're going to here so you can't see the head of it. So here it is. It's 11:55. At 10:55, we're thinking there's only 5 minutes left before it hits 11 and it might turn around. Let's go forward and it's like, oh, wow, this is looking pretty good. You got a red star there, which generally means that, it's getting in a position to be a good trade. The market is fairly red, so it's looking all right. But if you did get in, notice how it pulled back. Now you got a Y point, which means that you should probably think about getting out. But now it's after 11. This is what we're talking about, is the market turns. So let's see how it go. No, you can't go green. Come back. No, please. And as you know, the market doesn't listen to our pleadings. It just does what it does based on people buying and selling the stocks. So there's two things to watch for: gaps and the time. And this happens all the time. And that's the point of testing it out with a replay, is you don't have to believe me and all the research that I've done and staring at charts and all that. You can look at charts with those two principles in mind as a guide and say, oh, you know what, that works. And so let's look at some trades that made something using the same old boring rules. Oh no. Here's the same old boring rules. I'm going to go to the beginning here. And if making money bores you, great. Then you probably won't invent weird ideas. So we've talked about this, and I'm just going to do this quickly because we want to keep it short today. You got this tint here. You've got that tint. It broke out of the risk zone. The market was green. This basket line was green. That was a good trade. And I'll take you to the percentages so you can see it. What else? Let's go look at another one. But where we would have got in was somewhere around here. So I'm just going to mark that. And another trade that was good, that was pretty obvious, is Baidu. Same kind of thing. You can see how, now we're going to look more in detail here, is what happens if, coming to the beginning, we want to wait till 9:36 because that's the same kind of idea of not having any craziness. So here you've got this shadow, which is a concern. It's like there was some pushback on the sale. So it wanted to go up, it went up, and then there's some selling to push it back down again. So we wait a little bit.
You're also at RA there as well, aren't you? And that's...
Yes, you are. That's right. And so, it's a little bit of, you're going to get some pushback on that. That's right. So here it is. It touched RA again. So if we were to run this at market speed, I'm just going to move forward one whole minute, that you'd see that if it broke above this point here, then that would be a pretty good buy. And let's see what happens here. I'm going to go forward one. So it definitely broke, and it broke RA. Everything's looking good. So we're going to just do the old buy now and see what happens. That's for the option price.
Also, you had a volume spike there, which can be either the beginning or end of a trend.
Right. Excellent. And so, it was a little late to get in, but not bad. And we've got like 6 minutes, which in the morning is lots of time. In the afternoon is not much time. before there's another turn in the market, 9:45. So here we are. We were up to 7. You know what? You got the blue star, which we've set as a turnaround point. I think I'll just get paid. Leave.
Yes.
Because if you can get paid regularly, you win. As you were saying, winning and losing. Winning is getting paid. So what did it do after that? Yeah, it went a little higher. I don't care. Getting paid is great. If it turns around, that's not so great. And there was one other one I wanted to look at for the red side, and that was here. And you can see that the market's moving up, this black line, right? But this stock's moving down. It was a gap. It says here, gap of 86. So let's move forward a half hour and just wait and see if there's another opportunity here for us. So this would be the half hour thing. So yes, it's moving strongly. You can see that that was a big drop. It's gapped. So maybe this stock's going to have some more energy. I'm just going to move forward in time so you don't have to waste your time figuring it out. So here you've got the two kinds of tint. It's a little hard to see, but there are both. It's lunchtime. The market's moving up. I'd be tempted to get into that, but because it's against the market, I would just not bother. Doesn't mean you can't make money, right? But you see how it's struggling to go down? And then it starts coming back up because the market is against it. Could you have made money? Yeah. Would it have been a little bit of a struggle? Yes.
Would it have been stressful compared to the other one?
Yes. And we're not really interested in doing all that stuff. It's like, can't you just, isn't 10% in 10 minutes like really awesome? Yes, it is. So, and now we're going to go back to, remember we looked at 2 good trades that were easy. One, which was the Baidu, which we didn't get in. Yeah, we did get in and get out of. I'm just going to go back to that. So we got in here and we got out there. Okay, so that was short. The other one we talked about quickly was Apple. So we're just going to go walk through that one so that you can see what it was like. It's, again, same rules, not inventing anything. So somewhere around here, anywhere in there, I just did a rough mark there. But looking at it as you normally would, you go here, it's looking pretty good. The market's green. I've got some room before it hits this other thing. I got about 40 cents, 30 cents at least. It could break that and keep going. At this point, I've got like 4 minutes before the market turns. So you could get into that, but you better be ready to get out quickly. So if that's what you want to do, remember there's different behaviors to different times in the market. After 9:45, it goes a little bit more smooth than the first one. But the market's green. This stock looks good. I'm just going to hit the buy button and be ready to get out quickly. So there, it's like almost time to leave. This is where I would have, see where it was right there? I'd be thinking about getting out just at break even, right there. But then it starts doing good stuff, and it's like, whoa. And that was all within 1 minute. So, of course, you're like, yeah. So now it's 9:45. Do you want to hang on, hope, or you want to just take the 6%? Well, that's where in the live market, it's easier to tell a little bit because you've got this micro data happening every few seconds, where here we just give you, a faster overview. You can play it at market speed very slowly, but we're just going to move forward. And you go, this is not looking so good. I'd be wanting to get out right there. Had enough. The market's still green. The volume's not so fantastic. I'd just take the money. Somebody else would hang on. That's great. So here you go. 1 more minute. 2. See, see, all the money would have made. Yeah, well, that's personality again. If you don't like it, don't risk it. Really, just find the trades that you really like. And there's our little friend, the blue star, that says it'll probably turn, but it kept going.
And then it turned.
And but so it's got to fit with your comfort level.
Now, just wait. Go forward again. Just
Yep.
like 4 candles past the blue star.
4
I
candles.
really want to emphasize this. Okay, 3 more candles.
1,
Keep
2,
going. Keep
3.
going. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean minutes. I meant actual
Oh, candles. Well,
candles.
there.
1 more. Well, one more candle. It changed to 4 minutes now, right?
It did, yeah.
Okay, a couple more then. Okay, stop. So you can see, hindsight is always, of course, 20/20 or 50/50. But you can see there's a blue star, and then there's a red candle, a little bit of a green. So it's thinking about it like it's struggling, and then 2 red candles. So we just wanted to point out that, there were parts of those candles which, yeah, maybe went up a little bit more because you've got that little candle wick at the top there. Mm-hmm. But really, it's such a good exclusive, like nobody else has a blue star, key. Like you see it, like get out or get in, depending on, if it's at the beginning. But I just think that's a great example of, like it's telling you, like, because people ask, like, when should I get out? Well, see the blue star, get out. See that it's no longer green or red, whichever one it was, and it's white background, get out.
Especially if you've made money.
Especially if you've made money.
And the other thing, we talked in this session today about time. Well, so here it's 10 o'clock right here. And we say that there's turns at these markers, 9:45 and 10 and 10:30 and so forth. Well, it moved from this kind of trend to this kind of thing. And when did it do that? Well, so here, if you want to get picky, but if you want something reliable, just say around 10 o'clock. That's pretty well what happens.
So the market in this particular case was thinking about the turn at 10 a little early. Sometimes it thinks about it a little late. But if you're aware of this, it gives you a huge advantage in the marketplace.
Absolutely. And you'll notice that on the black line here, that it peaked out at 10.
Yeah.
So that would be like 3,000 of the most highly traded stocks. That's what this market line does. It peaked out at 10 o'clock. And then it decided to go down. So that's really it for today's points. Is really there's not that many things. I think the worst thing that happens that people do is their mind gets seized up, cinched up with all this stress and worry about how to deal with it and all that. And it can't be that simple. And it's like, well, with the computer and all the stuff that it does, it is simple. With all the testing that's been done for you, it keeps it simple. And the people that do the best actually have a set of rules and they follow them. And I was talking to one fellow again today, and I hear the same story again and again, which is, I didn't follow my rules, and so I didn't make any money on that. I make it when I do follow rules. I hear this all the time. And you think, well, when you get involved, what happens is that's where we decide not to follow the rules, or we forget. There's only a few things to look for, maybe 5 or 6 things. And we forget them while we're in the heat of trading because our greed wants to go, yeah. So we talk about these things in the mindset course. They're really there to help you. And it does help people. So, the Udemy course is really inexpensive compared to what is lost on any trade.
You could buy the course a couple hundred times based on what some people have lost.
Oh yeah, quite easily. And so, if it's missing something in the course, and I really don't think so, we have an open invitation that says, well, could you add a little bit more about this? Because and we get lots of great reviews on the course, but it is a really, really good value. And it's you could spend a lot more on a lot of other things. This is a very inexpensive course, the mindset course.
Yeah. And I want to jump in with one more comment from one of our students that I was talking to yesterday. When you're looking at all this stuff and you're seeing, different colors and greens and reds and oranges and white backgrounds and purples and it's overwhelming, there's one reason why it's overwhelming. And that's because you haven't practiced. And this individual said, yeah, I did. I don't think I have the numbers quite right. This is the way I read what he said or understood what he wrote was, I did 200 trades, obviously on replay, what we're showing you. And then I sort of reviewed what I had done and got really clear on how to do this. And then I did another 600 trades.
Wow.
Yeah. And He says, I went from 65% in my first group of trades, success rate, to basically 95% success in the second group. So basically, first 200, 65%. The next for either 600 or 450, I'm not sure, because I wasn't clear on what he meant, was at 95%. Well, you know, how can you do that? There's only one way, is you practice, 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 and then you look at your results and you go, oh, I'm at 65. Why? I review the course. I review, you know, what the situation was. I ask questions. I look for, you know, what my mistake was. Oh, gaps. Forgot about those gaps. And then I take that learning and I practice again. And I'll tell you, after you've done 500 trades, there's nothing mysterious about this.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that have that kind of diligence that are very successful, and they're not actually posting their results in the Facebook group, some of the most successful ones. They don't need the Facebook group. The Facebook group is there to help people in the beginning stages. So I've got a fellow who's, you know, he makes really good money as an accountant. You can imagine what they charge for stuff, right? And he's getting ready to quit that. Why? Because he's doing better and he can see the future growing with this. And, oh, well, you know, I have to work a couple hours a day instead of like 8 or 10. And I get to control how much I make much more accurately. Yeah. So anyways, that's, you know, some of the stories I hear from people that you won't hear on the Facebook group.
Excellent. Awesome. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This has been the Day Trading Options Daily Review for July 26, 2016. Bottom right-hand corner is a little subscribe button. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Really would appreciate a like if you're on YouTube, that sort of thing. It makes us feel good, if nothing else, because we're doing this free for you. We've proven once again that you can make 10% in 10 minutes or thereabouts. And of course, you can also lose that if you don't know what you're doing. So beware of all the advantages and pitfalls of trading stock options. And what else do I want to say? In the description, we have links to our courses. Please take them. You get the software for 30 days to try out in terms of the replay. And at the end of the 30 days, if you've been diligent and you've been really working it, you'll know if this is right for you. We don't believe that trading options is right for 100% of the world's 7 billion population, but it might be for you, and it's certainly a lot easier way of making money than packing groceries, which is how I started making money 40 years ago, or some of the other things that you see people doing. This is pretty much stress-free for those of us that are really, really good at it. And it's kind of nice to be able to write your own paycheck. So think about those things, take the courses, join the Facebook group, keep watching these videos, and make a decision. It could change your life. So we'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.